Heads up! Heads up! Here's another one.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're watching Bearcat Update here on Channel 8, brought to you by the good people at St. Francis Hospital, the Student Activities Council, and Bearcat Athletics. So far, we've brought you up to speed on Bearcat basketball, baseball, and track. But now it's time to get personal with women's basketball star Mandy Schumacher. Nate Moore sits down to find out what happens when people stop being polite and start getting real.
All right, welcome back to another edition of One-on-One with the Bearcat. If you didn't join us last week, we caught up with sophomore track star Tim Hare, and this week we have the privilege of sitting down with junior forward Mandy Schumacher. So Mandy, let's go ahead and kick it off to you, and let's talk about yourself just a little bit.
Well, I'm a junior here at Northwest. I'm from Columbus, Nebraska. I went to Scotus Central Catholic in Columbus, and I am majoring in corporate rec in hopes to go to nursing school eventually.
Okay. You said you graduated from Nebraska. What made you decide to come to Northwest and maybe stay in state or maybe somewhere closer to home?
Well, as most of you know, that people from Nebraska know anyways, there's 3 D2 colleges there, but not too many choices for colleges. But if you want to go D2, and their conference isn't necessarily the toughest conference, so MIAA for women's basketball is amazing, and so anywhere you can get in with MIAA is awesome, and I knew that. And Northwest won conference the year before I came here, and so that was also another plus. And came, and I liked the university, and it was close enough to home. I'm only about 3.5 hours away, so just decided to come here.
Okay, now I know you're an athlete, of course.
Yeah.
So with all your practices and stuff and your games, how do you juggle around your schedule of going to school too?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. My freshman year was a little rough. A lot of time management. They schedule their practices around our schedules, and they try to tell us to have our classes done by 2-3 o'clock. But I know, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I go to school all day long and have practice at 2, and I get home about 6 o'clock. So I'm in class from like 8 and I'm at school till like 6. So it's a long day. Get a lot of stuff done at night, a lot of late nights, but then again early mornings. So it's tough, but it's just like handling a job. So.
Now most sports have like a downfall. Would time management probably be the worst thing about it, or is there another?
Yeah, I'd say so. We put a lot of hours, especially basketball. It's a long season. I mean, our first game was in October, and our last one will be in March. So it's a really long season, and it's definitely a lot of time and dedication. So you gotta know that's what you want to do.
Now, when you guys usually have games on Wednesdays and Saturdays,
yes.
So what do you guys do on practices? You practice Monday, Tuesday. Do you have Thursdays off, or how does your schedule work?
We practice Monday, light Tuesday, play Wednesday, then we go Thursday, light Friday, play Saturday, and we get Sundays off. So Sundays are always our day off. So that's kind of nice.
Okay. What do you guys prepare? Like, how do you guys get yourself all hyped up? Like, let's say like a Mo West game, like a big rival, or compared to a Central game. How do you guys get all hyped up for the game?
It's kind of a tough question. Just the rivalry and the atmosphere, because there's so many people at the Mo West games and, the big rivals like that it almost, we don't even have to do anything to get hyped up because the crowd's there and does it for us. And the cheerleaders, and you hear the cheerleaders talking trash back to the crowd and the players, and you just get so involved in it and so almost overwhelmed with the crowd that they kind of do it for us. And it's not something we really have to work on. It's kind of just something that comes naturally when you play.
Now, I know earlier we were talking about the Central game, and you was talking about the crowd. Does the crowd make you guys play better, you think?
Oh, yeah. When the crowd's involved, it just makes you feel like people appreciate, you playing and are there to watch you guys. And you never want to disappoint a big crowd. And we said that before the Central game. We're like, wow, look at all the fans. We're going to have to play good so people come back. And that's really it, If you have a bad season and you're not playing well, people don't come watch you. But if we have a good season and, we play well when the fans are there, they come back, and it just makes the game so much fun.
Okay, now we know you're a junior, and there's, another senior ahead of you. Mm-hmm. Who do you think the leader is? Is it probably O'Grady, or is there somebody else?
O'Grady's a big leader, but another one's April Miller. She's a huge role model on and off the court. She carries a 4.0 grade point average, and is in grad school, graduated in 3.5 years. So obviously off the court, she's a huge role model. On the court, she tries so hard and puts a huge effort into everything she does. And although she doesn't start, and she plays a lot more minutes than she did last year. I mean, she's probably by far our hardest working player.
Okay, and you talk about the hardest worker. Now, let's say when O'Grady leaves and, the class is going to be small after next year. We was talking earlier, you said you're going to be leaving. You have a lot of juniors leaving. Who do you think is going to step up that's on the team right now that's going to, fill in for you guys in the future?
I think there are two people that are going to step up. Megan Brew, she would have been in our class. She would be a junior this year, but she redshirted, so she's only a sophomore. So she's going to have quite a few years under her belt. And Jessica Burton will be back, and she started the year starting in a starting position and has played tons of minutes since her freshman year, so she will be a huge influence. And also Michaela Urell will still be around, and her just as well. She knows the program, and she'll be a big role model when the new girls come in.
Okay, and what do you think, as a team right now, if there's a weakness, what do you guys think you have to improve on? I mean, you're pretty strong as a team, having a pretty good season, but what would you think would probably be
I think we need to be more consistent. Like you said, we do have one senior, but we have a lot of juniors, and we are kind of becoming an older team. And when you become older, you need more consistency, and that's individually and as a team. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. I struggle. I'm not super consistent, and when you're going to win big games like the Washburn, Emporia, and Western games, you need consistency. You need to show up every night. And it's tough to do because you have a lot of games. I mean, about 30 games a year. So it's tough to show up 30 times in a year, unlike football, who has about 11 or 12.
Right.
But that's really something you have to do to become a good team. And I think we lack that a little bit this year.
Okay, I'll give you one more question, and we'll wrap this thing up. Let's talk about, I guess, a little bit about what do you guys do, after the game? If you were hit with a loss or something, how do you guys cope with something like that?
Last night we were hit with a loss, actually. It's a downer. I mean, it's never fun to lose. Nobody likes to lose. But we also know that, Saturday is a huge game. And that's the thing about basketball is you don't have to wait a week to play another game. We have another game in 3 days. And we know that the next game is just as important as the last one. So as much as we want to hang our heads and be upset about the last loss, you have to pick yourselves up and know that we have to come out fresh on Saturday and be just as ready to play as we were on Wednesday. And I think that kind of forces us to get out of the bad moods or hanging our heads because we don't have a choice unless we want to get beat again, and we don't want that to happen.
And when you lose, you also pick up some things that you can work on.
Exactly. In film, I mean, the coaches do a good job of pointing out a lot of the mistakes and a lot of the little things that we tend to do in games. So it's a building experience.
All right, well, that'll wrap it up for this week on One-on-One with the Bearcat. We appreciate, Mandy, you joining us this week, and we hope you the best in March when March comes, and all next season as well.
Okay,
and next week we'll bring you Matt Withers from the men's basketball team, and that'll be it. We'll see you next week.
That will do it for us this week. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors at St. Francis Hospital, the Student Activities Council, and Bearcat Athletics for making this all possible. Also, if you have any questions, comments, or even story ideas for the show, be sure to send them to us at bearcatupdate@hotmail.com. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Chris Ranella. Be sure to catch us again next week at the same time, right here on Channel 8.